New York City has many nicknames, but only one stands out to me: the city that never sleeps. Before I ever visited New York City, I never thought it was anything special, but just another normal city like Atlanta. After my trip though, I now know why New York City is such a special place. My trip to the Big Apple began a few days after Christmas and just before New Year's. I left from Atlanta's airport around 6 in the morning with my church group, my brother, and my mom. Even though I was dead tired, I couldn't sleep while we were flying because it was my first time ever being on an airplane, and let's just say, I was terrified. When we finally landed at LaGuardia Airport, I couldn't wait to get on the huge charter bus that we rented and go straight to the city. Even though we were just a couple of miles away from the city, we had to wait around an hour just to get there because of the traffic. While we were slowly inching our way into the city, I found that the boring wait was like waiting to get on a ride in an amusement park, which was New York City. Entering the city is crazy all on its own because we had to go through this huge tunnel that goes underneath the Hudson River. When we finally made it into the city, I was just amazed at how tall all of the buildings were. Yeah, Atlanta has a few tall buildings, but most of the buildings in the center of New York City are gigantic. When I think of the buildings in New York City, I think of the city skyline that is shown on TV or in movies, but being right next to them and looking straight up made me realize that there are some amazing things in this world. The first place we went was to Times Square. Like the rest of New York City, all I know of Times Square was from television or movies. I was just bombarded by how much color and people were there. Every building had bright, dazzling lights and enormous advertisements on them. The amount of people that were on the streets just blew my mind. There must have been thousands of people on the sidewalks just in Times Square alone. Going to Little Italy in Chinatown was an amazing experience all on its own. I found it crazy that Chinese and Italian people were able to take over part of the city with their culture. We didn't spend much time in Little Italy except to eat. The food we had there was just delicious. I don't think that I ever had a true Italian meal before until I ate in some hole-in-the-wall place in Little Italy. Chinatown, on the other hand, was just chaotic. The Asian culture was just so different from what I thought. Every building had signs and advertisements that were in Chinese. It had stores that just sold random food that I thought to be disgusting. They had nasty, dried up things, any part of a cow or pig, and they had these huge live fish that they were trying to sell. Plus, in front of any of the produce stores, there was this nasty, grotesque smell that I can only describe as if something dead had been sitting there for weeks. Now that I think about it, everywhere I walked in New York City, I could hear someone next to me speaking in another language. The best part of the trip that just blew my mind was going to the top of the Empire State Building. The first thing that was crazy about it was the many elevators it took to get to the top and how my ears kept popping the higher I went. When I finally made it to the top, it was snowing and very windy. The view was amazing. The city was lit up like a light bulb from the top. The view showed me that the city was massive because even from the top I couldn't see the edge of the city. My trip to New York City just put a whole new perspective on the world for me. The trip showed me that the world is huge and diverse. Everywhere I went in the city, there was someone of a different culture next to me. I now see that New York City is so special because it is a place where different kinds of people can live and interact together.